Welcome to Confusing Words in Action number 3, the finale series of this trilogy. That my voice is different, it's because I have a runny nose. Not sure if I'm sick or not, but doesn't matter. First off, here we go. Here are our 20 words, well, 10 sets of words, and some of them, like today, has 3 of them. The first one is abuse, then there's misuse, elude, assume, presume, at hand, in hand, on hand, audience, spectator, oral, and oral. This one I really had a hard time thinking because they sound exactly the same. Authoritarian, authoritative, biannual, and biennia. Never heard that word before until now. Calculated, calculating, calculative, censor, and censure. First off, our first words is abuse and misuse. Now, when you are abusing something, that means you're going ahead and you use like this word to show moral disapproval of someone's actions, like that person is doing something that's morally wrong. Whereas misuse is that you use it in an unintended way. A Punch and Judy show is a traditional form of entertainment at the seaside in Britain. Some people say that to call it an entertainment is to misuse that term. Mr. Punch abuses his wife, and his baby is nearly hanged at the end of the show. But many people still think that a Punch and Judy show is a lot of fun. I mean, sure, some of them are going to be like, aw, sad, but others are going to be like, hey, quite entertaining. It's quite entertaining because we're next to the beachside and this is tradition. Alright, our next words is allude and elude. Now, allude literally basically means you go ahead and you are able to, you're referring to someone, whereas elude basically means you're escaping or avoiding someone. Like, there are so many allusions towards George Orwell's 1984 in this book, and he eluded the police for so long. Like a criminal can elude the police for as long as he wants, and he's a master criminal. Jenny Snoop, Daily News superintendent, can tell us how the suspect got the name Fishy Fred. The suspect's nickname alludes to the fact that everything he does is fishy or suspicious, and he is as slippery as an eel. When I say that he is as slippery as an eel, I am alluding to his well-known ability to elude the forces of law and order. But I should like to assure everyone that his days of freedom are numbered. Now the net is closing in on Fishy Fred. Alright, so if you can't catch him, then net him. He can slip around in the container as much as he wants, but he can't get out. Also, he cannot cut it because his hands are so slippery. Alright, so next up we have these words, presume and assume. Now, presume is where you go ahead and you're like, accept something is true, which might not actually be true. And then when you assume something, you're like talking about someone without having all the facts. Like, I presumed you were a doctor, but unfortunately for me, you are not a doctor, you are a police officer. That is, for some reason, undercover agent as a surgeon. I'm pretty sure that's not going to work out the best way. Alright, I presume that like us, you're here on holiday? No, we're on duty. Oh, sorry, I just assumed from what you were wearing. We're undercover police officers on the trail of a suspect. And his wife is like, what the? Yeah. Why reveal it to this person anyway? Alright, next up, we have this. At hand and in hand. Now, when something's at hand, that means it's nearby or nearby in time. Whereas in hand is like something is being dealt with right now. And of course, there's a bonus word, on hand. And when something's on hand, that means that thing is available. So when it's in hand, at hand, it means nearby. When it's in hand, that means something is being dealt with now. And on hand is something that's available right now. That works out pretty well, don't you think? The great day is at hand. Tony and Maria are getting married next Saturday. Preparations for the wedding have been in hand for months. It is now July. Invitations were sent out last December. But marriage is a serious thing. The best preparations in the world can't stop you from having doubts. It is a good thing Maria's mother is on hand to give her some good advice. Ay, caramba. Alright, next up we have a spectator, as well as the audience. Now, a spectator is like someone who's watching something, who's just spectating, I suppose. Whereas the audience is someone who's just part of the crowd who's watching a show. Like, are you a spectator? Do you want to go to spectator mode? Alright, the audience decided that we're all going with B. What are you, a watcher or a doer? In a sport, are you a spectator or a player? When a play is put on, are you in the audience or on the stage? Watching is fine some of the time, but don't be lazy and don't be shy. Make sure that sometimes you take part. Alright, next up we have oral and oral. Here we go. We all know the importance of oral hygiene. There's someone using dental floss to clean between their teeth. Now, oral basically means teeth, related to teeth. Stuff related to teeth. And this is Professor Arthur Potty. He has a brilliant idea. He wants to promote the importance of oral hygiene as well. No. Oral basically means something that's related to the ear. Here he is demonstrating the use of his new invention. He calls it mental floss. I just hope his brain isn't dead by then. Alright, next up we have this. Here we have authoritarian and authoritative. Now, authoritarian is like where you are extremely strict and controlling, whereas authoritative is like the ability to lead and control something as well too. Like authoritarian and authoritative. So like if you're an authoritarian regime, that means you're going ahead and you are very strict and you're forcing people to do things. But authoritative is like the ability to control and lead. For example, here, people in the thousands are heading for the city's central square this morning. Late last night, a car came to the rear entrance at the presidential palace. It then drove off at high speed to the airport. The days of authoritarian rule are at end. The authoritative voice of the people has spoken. Freedom! Yay. And now it's next up is biannual. Now, biannual. Biannual is like every two. It basically means something that happens every 2 years. Like something that happens twice a year. That's something that happens twice a year. Whereas biannual is like something that happens every 2 times a year. So if it's biannual, it happens 2 times a year. Biannual, it's like happens every 2 years. Mr. Phelps was giving the class a combined maths and comprehension test. How often would a biannual event take place during a period of 2 years? Peter thinks he knows the answer. Once, sir. No, Peter, that will be a biennial event. Lucy? 4 times, sir. Correct. Well done, Lucy. But Lucy gets it right. That works out. Next up, we have calculating and calculated. Now, when you are calculated, that basically means That basically means you have thought carefully and beforehand to do something. Whereas if you're calculating, that means you are considering something before you are doing something. And then of course we have calculative, where you're going ahead and that means you are able to calculate something very well. For like, I'm a calculative person. Robert Riley is a calculating man. He knows that he will get an advantage by making his opponent in the debate lose his temper. He's attempted to make a calculated attempt to just do that. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent is a math teacher. He will do it by casting doubt on his opponent's mathematical ability. My opponent has added 2 and 2 and made 5. I don't think this guy's fooled, to be honest. And next up, last but not least for today, is censor and censure. Now, when you're censured, that means you haven't expressed a official disapproval. Whereas censor basically means that it's an official job to go ahead and edit something, or at least take out some parts of something. Anthony is extremely angry and upset. He has been censured by his boss for not finishing a report on time. Anthony thinks he has been unfairly treated. He decides to write a letter to his boss's boss. Excuse me? It is an angry letter. A very angry letter. Says some very rude things about Anthony's boss. This letter could get Anthony into even worse trouble, but Anthony doesn't care. Anthony's wife does care. She creeps downstairs while Anthony is asleep and censors his letter. Well, now, excuse me, but I suppose that works. This is the next set of words that we'll be doing next time. I'll see you guys soon. Shanana, peace. Bye!